Hey, what's up, dude? That's some pretty clear water.
Princess is chewing.
That is not my trail name. I bet they don't have a reservation. We are on our way to Castle Falls campsite within Castle Provincial Park. We had a nice little lunch and some much needed coffee at Miners Mercantile and Bakery. If y'all hear me scream or something, it's because she's driving, just to let you know. What's up, dude? So off the highway from Beaver Mines, Castle Falls Campground is roughly 5 kilometers in from the highway, and we've already passed 2 or 3 designated camping spots. Three designated camping spots. So from a camping perspective, those designated camping sites are actually first come, first serve, and there's a self-serve registration kiosk at each of those sites. What we've opted for is a reserved spot so that we could actually choose what we wanted in terms of amenities, view, and by the appearance of the map, it looks like there are just more amenities with the reserved sites than with the designated. So that's one of our main reasons for going that route as opposed to the designated. But we are almost there. We just passed a sign that said 1 kilometer to the campground. We're getting into some thicker forested area. Past a herd of cows just chilling in the woods. That was kind of cool. And here's what appears to be the main entrance. So, bit of comic relief here. I say prairie dog. April says gopher. To me, gopher is a much bigger animal. And one sec. That's apparently a Texas gate. Anyways, so as soon as we get to Coleman and we can actually sit and do some Googling, we're going to settle this once and for all. So we have arrived, and it looks like the site, or at least this one, is slightly smaller than what we had. And similar to what we've mentioned before, it's all crushed and compressed gravel, so might be a bit of a challenge for staking the tent down. And there is a fire ban, from what April was saying, for this particular campground, so no fire tonight, although there's no wood in the pit this time, just coals. And I can hear water coming from over there, so I'm assuming that that's the falls. And same kind of pit toilet system as we had at Beaver Mines Lake campground. Alright, so we're gonna get set up here, and we'll check in a little bit later.
Not much space in the shade.
No. Wow, look at them all. That's some pretty clear water. Not too bad. In the shallow end. So once again, folks, this is Castle Falls Campground, and we're just here for one night. as they did not have availability for a second night, and then we will move on to Lynx Creek in the morning. And just like we've come across before, the map for the campground is lacking some detail in that it doesn't really show all the different trails, although we did pass a few what appeared to be trails on the way into the campground. April and I are debating taking a dip, refreshing, just a matter of how to dry off without getting a sunburn, as there's no picnic tables here. Might be a little uncomfortable to lay on the rock. Absolutely beautiful. Well, hey folks, just a little bit of an update. So after April and I went down to the river and check out the falls, we both agreed that it was high time for a dip. So we ditched our electronics and any other peripherals and went down to the river and had a very, very refreshing dip in the river. Rinsed out some of my stinky hiking clothes, and we just made it back to the site. We hung up a few things, courtesy of a Sea to Summit clothesline from my lovely wife. Thank you, honey. And now it's basking in the sun time to dry the rest of ourselves off. So, gonna do that. Toot and sweet. What else? So, yeah, I've been kind of contending with a bit of a sore throat for the last few days, and that has alluded to a little bit of a cough, a little bit of a headache today. So, not quite sure what that is. So, although it was kind of a nice excuse to go for a nap, it was something that I needed, especially just because of how little sleep I got last night. In terms of the campgrounds itself, there really isn't a lot to explore in the campground. Like, by all means, the river was beautiful. The falls, you can't really call it a falls. It's more like a rolling rapid of sorts. Yeah. But still really beautiful, crystal clear water. Lots of butterflies for some reason.
They were everywhere.
Yeah, very, very cool. And tomorrow on our way out, we're going to try and check out a lookout, because there's a little bit of a multi-use trail from the main drag that goes into the campground that leads to a watchtower. So we're going to try and check that out on our way to Lynx Creek. And that's really it.
Yeah, for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good time at the Miners Mercantile and Bakery, so that was a really cute stop.
Really good food and coffee.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Because of our mutual issues with the coffee that we brought, we were kind of desperate to find something to replace that coffee. They had grinds, but and they had grinds, and they had filters, but no way of holding said filter so that it could actually brew coffee for us. And then they had Maxwell House instant coffee, which neither of us were willing to take a chance on. So, but yeah, they have like an all-day breakfast menu, burgers, a collection of different sandwiches, and that's from the hot side of things. They also, I think they had some pre-made stuff too, some desserts,
some like pastries, like meat pies and like a cheeseburger roll. Kind of looked like a sausage roll. Baked goods.
So definitely worth the stop.
I had a veggie burger and onion rings, and they were both really, really good.
I'll testify to the onion rings, because April gave me the leftover onion rings, and they were really good. Yes. Anyways.
What did you have? Princess is chewing.
That is not my trail name. Just saying that right now. And anybody watching will not dub me as such either.
I can get away with it.
Barely. Anyways, I had the miner sandwich on a English muffin, which had egg, ham, bacon, cheese, and it was all like really good quality stuff. Like, it wasn't like
like most lunch meat ham is kind of processed anyways, but this one looked like it was like more of a Black Forest ham as opposed to just like
sandwich meat.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. The bacon looks like it was real.
Well, did you see the sign? Apparently all their meat is locally sourced.
And there was some for jerky fans out there. There is local sorry, can't talk today, folks. There is local jerky being offered in the store. And also for traveling artists or art enthusiasts, there's photography and oil paintings on display and for sale.
Yes.
Also all by local artists, I believe.
Same with the clothing.
Very true. Some ponchos.
Dresses, I don't know, some really cool stuff. So that was a nice stop. Nice sit-down meal. And from there, we drove here. And we're just here for one night, so not a lot to do.
No. Had some fun pitching my tent. Been to one of my stakes, so I might pick up another replacement once we get to Coleman or Blairmore, depending on which town offers what services.
Yeah.
And amenities. But yeah, otherwise there hasn't been too many issues. That's it.
Pretty chill day. Yeah. I think the highlight was that swim. I felt like 1,000 times better after being able to rinse my body and my clothes.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Cleansing.
Yes.
All right, folks. Well, we're gonna finish our meals and maybe go for a stroll later on after my pants dry.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the flip side. Till then.
Bye.
Look, I'm just walking down the campground.
That's hilarious.
That is so funny. Hey, Mama, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
I bet they don't have a reservation.
Well, after our summary video earlier when we were having dinner, we decided to go for a little bit of a walk to check out the rest of the campground. And needless to say, we actually found a trail that followed the river, as you can see behind me. And it continued on for the better part of a kilometer or so. And we found an actual set of falls and more rapids. And despite pristine conditions to see a bear, no bear. And I also did a little digging for gold and no gold. So I tried. Anyways, we're going to head back, have some hot chocolate, and call it a night. Till tomorrow, folks. You have yourself a good night. Hope to see you out there.